Okay, what you see at the bench this evening is a Marconi Instruments AF power meter, model 893C. The sole reason for buying this meter is because it has a Sinad filter built in, which is great for testing. Quite a lot of modern receivers require a Sinad measurement, usually of minus 12 dB. You feed in a set level and get the 12 dB Sinad, and it gives you an idea of the sensitivity of the set. Sinad stands for signal noise ratio and distortion. Basically, it's like a notch filter, and it looks for the difference between the noise and the 1 kilohertz tone you're feeding in. So this meter, there've been a couple of coming up on eBay recently. I think these are all Ramco auction meters from the government sites. Sold as in good condition, and certainly looks in pretty good condition to me. Had a bit of a bent bottom panel, but they tend to get a bit bent up like that anyway. Won the auction last week, and it never turned up. Managed to jeer the person on by unfortunately, I sent a couple of messages saying, where is it? And no reply. Okay, so you just launch a claim off the off eBay, say this thing hasn't turned up, and as soon as you do that, of course the people say, oh, I better respond now. They wanted £20 for the delivery, and of course it wasn't delivered. So I managed to contact the person yesterday. They said, oh, I'm sorry, or I'll send it out today, which they did as they said they promised. It wasn't particularly well wrapped. It's wrapped up in one level of bubble wrap and then a cardboard box. But it looked like it hadn't been damaged in the post. I mean, as I say, the legs were damaged on the bottom, but the rest of it looked okay. So okay, so I ignore that. It was a next day delivery, took 24 hours. It probably cost them 12, 13 quid. Bit of a rip off of postage, but still. So I've got it here. I'm just going to quick run through it. So this is basically what I'm doing now, is just going to make sure it works. So this is a totally passive meter. It just relies on transformers and filters and resistors and divider networks to make it work, which is quite good, because you look at something like this and you think, and it's quite a deep unit. You think it's going to be sort of like full up with electronics. Well, it is, but it's, as I say, totally passive. It's just like a multimeter, really. So we've got selections here on the front for different power ranges. So it do up to 30 watts down to sort of 300 microwatts full scale deflection, and associated dBm reading on the bottom. These selection switches here are basically for input matching. So you can have it for anything up to from 2.5 ohms up to 8K, 8,000 ohms. So basically what you do is, for example, if you're wanting to measure the power on an 8 ohm meter or amplifier, I'm going to bring this round a minute because we're getting a bit of flare off the meter, off the front panel of the meter because it's so bright. So we're using an 8 ohm load. All this does is matches the input impedance. So we go to times 8K, 8 ohms, and then times 1, so that's now ready to measure 8 ohm power. Obviously it needs to know the resistance you're putting in, because it's basically a voltmeter. So if you put the 12, a certain voltage in, it needs to know what resistance you're putting in to work out the wattage. It's basically as straightforward as that, really. So it'll do anything. It'll do 600 ohms. All the standard impedances are 600 ohms for sort of like outputs from test equipment and things like that. And of course, as I mentioned earlier, it's got the Sinad meter, which is the 1 kilohertz notch filter, basically. So let's try this. I'll connect it up to a function generator. We'll have a look, see what it does. Now, so we plug that into I imagine the high input, that's a negative input. It's got a push-pull output stage by the looks of it, so you can use it across a sort of like a push-pull output stage transformer. So we're at 600 ohms, so 6 times 100, obviously 600. So I'm going to increase the power from the generator slowly, and you see it works. Meter goes up, pops a bit jumpy, but you see here, there, it sticks. And the meter, I've turned the thing down now. If you watch this, if I give it a tap, meter's sticking. So that's annoying. It really depends on if I can fix it or not, but it's jamming solid at the end. Now this has probably been overloaded and probably had the meter damaged. And that's the other annoying thing, that the sellers say, oh, in good working order, though it obviously looks to them in good working order. The person who was selling shoes and clothing and things like that, God knows how they knew. Maybe they did test it, maybe it was damaged in the post because it was so badly wrapped, but certainly the meter wasn't working now, as you can clearly see. So the first thing I've got to do is take the thing apart, try and get the front panel off it, which should be fairly straightforward, and see if we can get into this meter and find out why it's sticking. Here's the inside. As you can see, it's all basically resistors, inductors. It's divider networks, various chokes. Looks like a mains transformer, but I can assure you it's not. It's all part of probably the power measurement. Where you put the feed in and you get the AC output, and it's just used as for power measurement. That's all that's used for. Obviously, it's got to dissipate 30 watts, so this is obviously you're basically an audio transformer. Various chokes here, the switches at the front, and here's the meter that we need to get out. So I think the first thing to do is let's get this meter apart. Hopefully the front panel comes off fairly straightforward. We can get in there. It's a CIFRAM meter. Actually, there's a small chance that a Robin meter will be the same if I change the front panel. But let's get the thing apart, have a look inside, and see if we can get it apart. I've got the front panel off it, came apart fairly easy. So what I'm going to do is, this is obviously a very sensitive input. This meter is pretty sort of 10 milliamp range or 1 milliamp meter. It doesn't actually say on the back what it is, but it's a CIFRAM, so it's a good quality meter. So I've become a human resistor, and I'm going to use this. I've got a power supply connection to about 10 volts. So the positive connection goes to my body, the other connection of my other side of my body goes to the other side of the meter, and I'm going to act as a resistor. And you can see I can actually affect by how tight I squeeze the meter, and you see it sticking there, but it's dependent on what angle the meter's at. So it means something's moved, so it's been dropped or something. You see it seems to just stick there, and you can see that stuck there. See, I'll take it disconnected to give it a tap. So if it's on that orientation, it's fine. So it's more than likely it's been dropped and moved one of these sort of spindles slightly out of position. So it's a bit tricky to know really what to do, because you could actually make the thing a lot worse. So we need to look inside at this movement, see if we can see anything obvious. Not really anything I can do on camera, unfortunately, because I sort of need all the sort of like movement I can get to work out what's going wrong. I'm pretty sure that things moved out of a line here. Sometimes if you look along the line, you can see there's things jamming across the meter, but it's not. There's nothing. Let me just try and get you so you can see. It's not touching anywhere. And on that scale, it's fine. On that plane, if it's horizontal, it's fine. It's only when it's vertically mounted it sticks. It's quite bad actually now. There, right on the end. So I'm going to take it apart and have a look, see what we can do. Alright, I've got the dial off it, the scale off it, and we managed to get inside, and sort of, if I loosened the screws off at the back of the meter and moved it about, the whole thing just jammed up totally. So it's just, even though that's worse than it was before, at least it shows that we can actually do something with it. So I've moved it around into the position I think's best, and then what I've done is I've loosened these two screws that are the pivots and pushed the whole mechanism up. And you see now what happens if I go up, full scale, and it comes back down again. It does stick very slightly at the very end of the range, but it's smooth. Just increase the voltage here a bit so I can. Yeah, see how nice and smooth that is now? So that meter's now, I think, perfectly okay. So good, I managed to repair that by the looks of it. So let's get this thing back together and have a look, see what it actually performs like. Well, that's the meter back in. So I think the thing to do now is just check its movement, make sure it works okay, and then we'll just check it to see if it's anywhere near what it's supposed to be, reasonably accurate. I hope it is. It doesn't look like it's had a lot of use. Meter movement seems nice and free. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm connected up to a signal generator, a fairly accurate signal generator, so I know if it's going to be in the ballpark or not. What the first thing you do is you set the impedance of the line to what it is from the generator. The generator's output impedance is 600 ohms, which is actually variable, but I've selected 6 times 100, 600 ohms. Okay, and basically what I'm going to do, I'm fitting a 10 kilohertz signal in at various different levels, and we're just going to see if it works properly. So we're going to feed in dBm signal of, I think we'll start at 0 dB. So if I press this button here on the bottom, that's our 0 dB button, and I'll type in our amplitude of 0 dBm, and then turn the output on. There you go. It's absolutely spot on at 0 dBm. So that's working correctly. Certainly seems to be working on that range okay. We'll change to another range. Let's go to the 5 dBm range. Now you see it's slightly low there, but that's, you know, that's halfway down the scale. It's reading -7, and I'm still putting a 0 dBm level in. So should be 5 dBm. It should be reading what should it be? A 5 dBm and it's reading 0. Get my head around this now. Is that reading correctly or not? So I'll tell you what, I'm getting confused. So let's put 5 dBm in here. 5 dBm. So we've got full scale. So if I put 0 dBm, it should read -5, shouldn't it? 0 dBm. Yeah, and it's actually reading less than that. So bit suspicious of its accuracy there, but you know, it's within the ballpark. It's not hugely out. Let's go to another range. What we're going to try and work out is if it's the divider on this switch bank here, or it's actually the meter calibration. And it could be the meter calibration, which might be adjustable. There is one pot in this for adjusting calibration. There's not a lot of adjustment. So let's go to the 15 dBm, and I'll feed in a 10 dBm signal. And it's a similar sort of thing, isn't it? So it does look like I mean, it's unlikely that they're all going to have the same calibration problem on all the switches. So what I'm saying is, it's after the switches, it's actually with the meter calibration. And then we'll go to 15 dBm, and I'm getting close to the point when the signal generator won't put that sort of power out. And you see, it is actually possibly fractionally low, but certainly in the ballpark. Now we'll go to 20 dBm. It should bring us back to the -5, but it doesn't. It does exactly the same thing. The one thing we will do is we'll try another frequency. Let's try a frequency of 1 kilohertz. Okay, let's pull it up slightly. Let's try a lower frequency, 200 hertz. So it's pretty good. So it looks like it's working pretty well, actually. I'm quite impressed with this. It's slightly out of calibration. It's not hugely. It's certainly working fairly well for basic power testing. No problem at all. Right, the other thing to do is I've just spotted here. You see what I've just read here? 300 microwatt only. If you look here, I'm looking on the wrong scale. So actually the -15 dBm point is actually spot on. I'll just run through that again. This just goes to show I've never used this before. I've got no instruction manuals for it again. So I'm going to go to 20 dBm. No, I'm not. I'm going to go to... Okay, level of 20 dBm. Got full scale. We're looking at this scale here. I've been looking at this scale, which is stupid. I should have read this 30 microwatt, 300 microwatt only. So we're here. So -5 should be. So now we should be coming down to this -5 point here. Okay. Yeah, and it is correct. So I was reading the wrong scale. Nothing wrong with it at all. Looks like it's working fine. That's good, because it was a bit, you know, the thing that worried me was when I was reading that scale, it was unlinear, and I was thinking, I don't know how I'm going to get around that, but it didn't look like the calibration was going to pull that in. So that appears to work perfectly well. I'm very pleased with that. We'll just try one of the other lower ranges again. So we'll go 0 dBm, and I'll press +5, and it should take us this -5 point, which it does. So it's working well. The other thing to mention about this, the Sinad function, its signal to noise ratio and distortion, is a test used for checking sensitivity of receivers, particularly sort of after the 80s. Sinad, however you want to say it, was a method of feeding in a 1 kilohertz tone and looking for the tone being resolved over the noise floor of the receiver. And what it does is actually introduces a notch filter. On normal meters, it introduces a notch filter, and it can differentiate between the 1 kilohertz tone getting through and the background noise, and that gives you the Sinad reading. This meter, I assumed, did the same thing, but it doesn't quite do that. And what this meter does is, if you want to do a Sinad reading, what you first of all have to do is you have to set your receiver up to feed in the signal, and then feed the audio from the output of the receiver into this meter. Get a meter reading where it's reading roughly in the middle of the scale, or maybe up towards the higher end, so sort of like around 0 dB possible, but sort of around -1, -2. And then, as long as you're feeding 1 kilohertz in, you press the Sinad button, and then the level will drop back. And the level will drop back probably about 10-12 dB. And basically the difference between the non-Sinad metered reading and the Sinad metered reading is your Sinad. It's not a straightforward readout. You can't just press Sinad and it will give you the Sinad. It doesn't work like that. Basically, it's an early form of Sinad meter, and although it does work, it won't give you a live reading of your Sinad all the time. You'll have to work it out by the unfiltered response and the filtered response, and then work the two, take the one from the other, and it will give you the Sinad meter reading. So it's not the perfect meter for a Sinad tester. I wouldn't buy this for a Sinad meter, and I'm probably going to sell this actually, because I don't think it's going to be a lot of use. I didn't have an instruction manual at the time, and I thought that's what it was going to do, which is a bit of a pain. The other thing to note about this meter is it doesn't like being driven down to very low frequencies. I don't know what the spec is. I think it's probably 20 hertz, something like that. But yesterday I had this connected up to an audio amplifier on the 30 watt range, and I was just seeing what its frequency response was like. And it's fine from about 100 hertz up to sort of like 20-30 kilohertz. It seems pretty flat, and I might demonstrate that in a minute. But below about 50-40 hertz, what seems to happen is you're feeding the audio straight into a transformer, and the problem is when you're starting to feed very low frequency into a transformer, you'll get core saturation, because the transformer is not designed to work at those frequencies, and that manifests itself as a short circuit on the output, so it actually activated the overcurrent protection on the amplifier. So be a little bit careful with these if you're going to use them at very low frequency at sort of high power. There is a risk of overloading the amplifier you're connected to, so a little bit suspicious of that. Let's have a look at this to see what it's like on frequency response. We're starting at 100 hertz and going to 20 kilohertz. I'll read out the frequency as it goes. We're looking for any change in level, so we're just above -3 dBm. I'm going to start the sweep now. So we're at 1 kilohertz, 2 kilohertz, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, see slight roll off, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, it's about to start again, 20 kilohertz and back again. See the level jump up. So it's pretty flat response. I'm quite impressed with that. That's within about a dB or so, less than that actually. So the frequency response of this meter is pretty good as well. So next thing to do is probably put it on eBay and see if anyone wants to buy it. Thanks for watching.